Welcome to Whisper Sleep Studio, where stories breathe between silence and heartbeat. Tonight's tale begins in the darkest hour of night at 3 a.m. when the city sleeps and secrets whisper louder than dreams. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and comment where you're listening from, and of course, subscribe for more midnight mysteries that keep your soul awake. Now let's begin. The clock on the wall ticked quietly inside Marco Santori's penthouse, a place built with gold, blood, and silence. He wasn't just any man. He was the boss. The man who ran the city's underworld from behind mahogany doors and smoked glass. People feared him, respected him, whispered his name like a ghost's curse. But tonight, even Marco couldn't sleep. He sat by the window, staring at the glowing skyline of New York. The storm outside made the city pulse with blue lightning, like veins under wounded skin. The whiskey in his glass was half empty, and so was his peace. Then, it happened. His phone vibrated. 3:02 a.m. A number he didn't recognize. Marco frowned. No one called him at this hour, not unless it was life or death. He answered. "Who is this?" His voice was deep, calm, too calm. There was a pause, a faint sound of breathing on the other end, then a whisper. "Is this Danny?" Marco's brow tightened. "You've got the wrong number." But the woman's voice trembled again. "Please, don't hang up. I didn't know who else to call. My son, he's not breathing." Marco froze. A child. Her words carried terror, desperation, and something else. Truth. He could hear the sound of rain through the phone, the echo of a small apartment, the hum of panic. He should have hung up. He wasn't the savior type. But something inside him, something buried deep beneath years of violence and vengeance, twitched. "What's your address?" he asked sharply. There was a stunned silence. Who are you?" He ignored the question. "Tell me where you are." She gave it, hesitantly, an address in a poor part of town, one he hadn't stepped into for decades. He ended the call, grabbed his coat, and left. No guards, no driver, just him. A Mafia boss walking alone into the storm. The streets of Brooklyn Heights were empty, soaked in rain. Every street lamp flickered like a dying candle. Marco parked near an old brick building. Rusted stairs, broken mailboxes, the smell of wet concrete. He climbed to the second floor. The door was half open, as if someone had left in a rush. He stepped inside. The apartment was small, too small for the amount of sorrow inside it. A woman knelt on the floor, her hair a stormy mess, her hands shaking over a small boy lying motionless on the couch. "Ma'am," he said quietly. She turned, her eyes wide, terrified but beautiful in their chaos. She wasn't expecting him. He wasn't the man she'd meant to call. But in that moment, it didn't matter. "Please," she cried. "He's not breathing." Marco moved closer, his instincts cold and sharp. He'd seen death too often, but this was innocence fading. He dropped his coat, knelt, and checked the boy's pulse. Weak, but there. He tilted the child's head, cleared the airway, started gentle compressions. It wasn't perfect CPR, but it was enough. The boy coughed. Then he gasped. Then he cried. The sound filled the tiny apartment like a sunrise. The woman broke down, sobbing, clutching her son. Marco stepped back, breathing hard, rain still dripping from his coat. "Thank you," she whispered through tears. "I don't know how." He interrupted softly. "Who's Danny?" She blinked, confused. "Danny? My neighbor. I called him. I must have." Her voice trailed off. Marco stared at the flickering bulb overhead. A wrong number. A single mother. A dying child. And a man who wasn't supposed to care. But he did. When she looked up again, he was already by the door. "Wait," she called. "At least tell me your name." He paused, his hand on the handle, and turned slightly. "Marco," she hesitated. "Marco? What?" "Just Marco." And then he left. Back in his car, the city looked different. The rain had softened, and somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed, a reminder that life never stopped spinning between tragedy and survival. He should have gone home. Instead, he sat there, replaying the woman's voice. That raw fear, that whisper, that word, please. Something about it wouldn't let go. Meanwhile, inside the apartment, Elena, that was her name, sat with her son in her arms. She couldn't shake the image of the stranger who had saved them. There was something dangerous in his calm, something powerful in his silence. Not kindness, not pity, something deeper. She glanced at her phone, the number she had dialed. The digits didn't match Danny's. She frowned. "Who are you, Marco?" she whispered. Outside, unseen from her window, a black car was still parked across the street. Marco hadn't left yet. He was watching. Not her, but the shadows. because something felt wrong. He wasn't paranoid. He was cautious. Years in the Mafia taught him that every coincidence was a setup in disguise. And when he saw a black van idle at the corner, lights off, engine purring, his instincts flared. He reached for his gun. But then the van drove away. He sat back, silent. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe he was losing his edge. But deep down, he knew this was no accident. That phone call, that wrong number, wasn't wrong at all. It was the beginning of something waiting in the dark. And so began the night that tied a Mafia boss to a single mother through a call that wasn't meant to happen, and a fate neither of them could escape. This was just the beginning. Stay tuned for part 2, where secrets unfold, bullets whisper, and love hides between danger and destiny. If you're still here, drop your country in the comments, give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to WhisperSleepStudio, where stories never sleep.